In a world where we can choose to be anything, some of us choose to be racist. But I hope we also choose to be educated, and that's why I'm here. We're going to talk about the Nazi Party and how Friedrich Nietzsche got involved in this, because the man had nothing to do with it. But let's talk about it. Okay, so as many of us know, the Nazi Party in Germany gained complete power when the Enabling Act of 1933 was passed, which allowed the cabinet the ability to enact laws without the consent of parliament. This gave Hitler, the party leader, dictatorial powers, basically. With these new powers, the Nazi Party abolished labor unions, imprisoned political opposition, exploited the government or gained new powers, the whole nine. The Nazi government of Germany adopted a new radical set of socialist ideas. One of these ideas was the conception of the Ubermensch, which can be translated to Nietzsche's overman. This archetype was used as a philosophical foundation for the Nazi Party, radical form of National Socialism, and is seen in the Hitler Youth concept of Untermensch, World War II, and the Aryan master race. If you really want to know exactly what Nietzsche meant outside of these things, check out my other video where I just simply break down his theory. But here we're going to talk about how his theory got mixed in with the Nazi Party. Whoops. Okay, so as we know, Friedrich Nietzsche developed the idea of the Ubermensch archetype in his book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. The book was published in 1883, and in the book, Zarathustra descends from a mountain cave and wants to teach humanity about the Ubermensch. However, nobody wants to hear about this concept, and it's noted by Friedrich Nietzsche, we've heard enough about the tightrope walker. Now it's time to see him. And while the crowd laughed, but Zarathustra finds some outsiders that will listen and follow his creed. Zarathustra states that those who are not strong give up and turn to nationalism, religion, and government. Individuals that are strong are those that struggle, and these are the people that are closer to being an Ubermensch. Zarathustra thinks that only the Ubermensch can achieve eternal recurrence. Eternal recurrence is a philosophy in which all events repeat themselves over and over again eternally. Nietzsche's Ubermensch is someone who is free from all the socialization, morality, and influences of society, and who makes his or her own values and purposes in life. Nietzsche's Ubermensch is also someone that has the will to take responsibility for every moment in his life and wants each moment to be repeated. The Nazi distorted version of the Ubermensch was simply someone who has a great will to power and would rule over other humans. It can be inferred that there is also their Untermensch or Underman. The Nazi Party developed this Untermensch concept, not Nietzsche. Because with the concept of a master race, they felt there had to be an underling included. Nietzsche did not develop the Untermensch concept. Nietzsche thought that all humans can achieve Ubermensch. The Untermensch, this is a person in society that does not make their own values and does not find purpose. This Untermensch is a slave to society and is dominated by all aspects of it. So, the Nazi Party, aka the Third Reich, took in Nietzsche's concepts according to Max White in 2008 in the Journal of Contemporary History. He says, for many intellectuals in the Third Reich, Nietzsche provided not merely the decorative furnishing of National Socialism, but its core ideology. The Nazi Party took to a notion of a master race. There was a hierarchy of this notion. At the bottom existed the dark-skinned indigenous people like Africans and Native Australians. The middle of the hierarchy consisted of Southern Europeans. The Europeans were in the middle due to their dark hair and olive skin. Both traits mean and that the Southern Europeans are partially tainted with Untermensch. At the very top was that Aryan race, that included Germans, Swedes, Icelanders, Norwegians, Danes, English, and Dutch. A stereotypical figure of the Ubermensch archetype was a person with blonde hair and blue eyes. This Ubermensch archetype of the Nazi Party was also tall. Hitler distributed copies of Thus Spoke Zarathustra to his all-Nazi Party soldiers between 1933 and 45 in order to reinforce this archetype. Recall that with the archetype Ubermensch, there is the Untermensch. The final solution was passed in 1942 by the Nazi Party. This enabled plans for the genocide of the Untermensch. Therefore, Nazis set up jails, concentration camps, the death camps of the Untermensch archetype. The many groups that fit into the Untermensch will be sent to the death camps such as Auschwitz. More specifically, these groups would go into a camp like this, included Jews, Gypsies, Poles, slaves, Jehovah's Witnesses, mentally or physically ill, political opposition, and homosexuals. The Nazis wanted one religion for the country, one political party for the country, and one race for the country. The Nazi Party saw itself as the Ubermensch, while all outsiders were the Untermensch that should be exterminated and enslaved. Auschwitz itself was a true example of this destructive archetype hierarchy. The prisoners were the Untermensch and the Waffen-SS guards were the Ubermensch. The Waffen-SS was an armed military wing of the Nazi Party, and membership was only open to the Aryan race. The conditions the Untermensch were placed in were pretty horrible. The Nazis also killed Untermensch instead of working them to death. This was done with Zyklon B gas, and hundreds would be killed at one time. The gassing method took like 20 minutes, guys. Ridiculous. So, the types of people that were sent to death immediately were normally women, children, and the elderly. Those that were worked to death were given minimal food, such as moldy bread, thin vegetable soup, and some days they received nothing at all. The workers also had hard manual labor jobs, in which one work shift was at least 12 hours. In either situation, the Untermensch and had their belongings stripped and stolen by the Waffen-SS. The German public accepted the Nazi Party and the radical agenda the party created. Along with plans for eliminating the Untermensch, Hitler and his party propagandized the youth of Germany. According to a website that notes the effects of the Hitler Youth, they say German children were enrolled in groups beginning at age 10 and remained members until they were 18. This is from the University of Michigan. The Nazi Party controlled the content taught both in school and in these groups. Therefore, the youth of Germany were not able to escape the ideals of the Nazism. That included the Ubermensch. The content forced upon the Hitler Youth included to be a hardworking individual, obedient to authority, and to always do what is best for Germany. The youth would routinely perform the Nazi salute. The Hitler Youth had sects that were designed to develop future officers for the armed forces of Germany. And this was the only youth organization that existed during Hitler's reign. The organization published a monthly magazine titled Will and Power, translated in English. During the Battle of Berlin, the Hitler Youth participated in the defense of the city. So, the Nazi version of the Ubermensch was adopted by the military of Germany and forced upon the country as a whole. The country started the Second World War because it thought itself to be superior to others. Germany annexed Austria in March of 1938 and Czechoslovakia 1 year later. Then, in September of 1939, Germany declared war on Poland. France, Britain, and other independent dominions like Canada declared war on Germany. Because of Germany's war with Poland, Germany then declared war on Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and Belgium, which were all neutral nations. These actions by the country can be interpreted to mean that Germany considered itself to be the Ubermensch, while all other countries were the Untermensch. Friedrich Nietzsche died before any of this could happen. He passed away at the age of 55 in August of 1900. Nietzsche was against anti-Semitism and nationalism. These are two factors that Hitler and the Nazis did not care about, for they were all about anti-Semitism and nationalism. Nietzsche also believed that all humans can become an Ubermensch because the Ubermensch is the goal that humanity should strive to reach, and that the Ubermensch is greater than mankind. Friedrich Nietzsche notes this in Thus Spoke Zarathustra when he says, "Behold, I teach you the overman." The overman is the meaning of the earth. On the other end of the spectrum, Hitler and the Nazi Party believed that only the master race could become the new Ubermensch, and that all others were Untermenschen. Nazis interpret the Ubermensch concept as something a human can be. The Nazi Party was truly in power in 1933, while with the Enabling Act of 1933. Friedrich Nietzsche developed the archetype of the Ubermensch in his book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. The newly empowered Nazi Party took in Nietzsche's concept of the Ubermensch. However, the Nazis manipulated it and twisted it to fit their own radical agendas. Remember that Nietzsche's Ubermensch was someone who is free from all socialization, morality, and the influence of society, and makes his or her own values and purposes in life. The Nazis' version of the Ubermensch was simply a person that is superior to others and has a strong will to power. Nazis were perceived to be true Ubermensch when one was considered to be of the Aryan race. Nazis were perceived, Tassi notes about the Nazi Party version of Ubermensch is this idea of a Superman was attractive to Hitler, and the Nazis used their own interpretation and saw this human as the blonde beast, that being the ultimate human who, of course, would be of the Aryan race. The Nazi Party was also developed the concept of the Untermenschen in order to justify genocide that occurred in camps like Auschwitz. The Nazi Party forced radical socialist ideas such as the archetype Untermenschen upon the youth of the country through the Hitler Youth. The whole country of Germany forced World War II to occur because it perceived itself to be superior to others, because of the Nazi Party forcing their version of the Ubermensch archetype upon the population. This happened due to alliances and decisions created by the Nazi Party in charge. The archetype of Ubermensch was used in the philosophy of the Nazi Party and displayed through the Hitler Youth, genocide, and concept of the Untermenschen, Aryan master race, and World War II. So, that's a little bit of the history of how all this stuff got misinterpreted and how people really started misunderstanding what Nietzsche meant, and how Hitler took and twisted everything he thought and wrote in order to push a very radical, extreme agenda. If you want to know where you can learn more, I am happy to share my sources. Number one is Max White, The Uses and Abuses of Nietzsche in the Third Reich. This is found on the web. Look for the Journal of Contemporary History. We also have Friedrich Nietzsche, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, A Book for All and None. This is a regular book. You can find it anywhere, but it's also the New York Modern Library 1995 print. And then we have Tassia's Nietzsche's Influence on the Nazis, Philosophical Ideology Intended, Misinterpreted, and Fabricated. And you can find this on academia.edu 2012. That's all for me. If you are still here, thank you for showing up, and I hope this was educating for you. If you would like to donate batteries, to my smoke alarm, please do so. Find my Cash App and let me know. I got you. Other than that, I hope that you can learn the true values of this philosophy and not mix it up with these radical, extreme agendas that they don't serve anyone, guys. Like, honestly, jokes aside, like, I know I'm coming here and I'm giving this time, but racism in itself is simply a use of distraction. It doesn't serve anyone. It doesn't serve you. I think that me and you are both losing a lot of time simply going back and forth on the internet talking about the Aryan race. I do wish you guys success. I hope that you find love in life and all the things that life should bring a person, and divine happiness and success. I hope that you can grow up and see how flawed your ideas are in terms of race and superiority, and work towards something that truly can bring you a sense of worth and purpose. Until then, love and light. Have a great day.